I'm Julie,
And I'm Jen.
and welcome to Folks Forever, a Lois and Clark rewatch podcast.
We're three fans who've been loving LNC since 1993.
Each week we'll recap one episode and talk about at least one LNC related topic.
If you would like to learn more about who we are, how we became folks, and or how we became friends, check out our intro episode.
Hello. How's it going?
You know.
Fantabulous.
Molly, you and I liked a lot of Jacks back in the day.
Well, that's because they
This
just named
Jack-
every random hot guy. They're like, man, we have like a hot guy.
Jack.
What should we name him? I don't know. Tom is too old. Brandon is
Jack
too
was a
young. Jack.
Cool
Yeah,
kid.
Jack.
And they seem to have the same haircut too.
They have the
No.
Jack haircut.
The Jack haircut. Is that a thing? What other Jacks out there have this haircut?
Today we're going to be discussing Season 1, Episode 16, Foundling. We'll also be talking about Lois and Clark's very own cat Grant, Tracy Scoggins.
Yay!
Tracy.
I wore a Tracy shirt.
Oh,
just for
nice. Oh, you
today.
finally you got one.
I do have one. See?
There she is. The Foundling first aired on February 20th, 1994. Movies that debuted in theaters that month include Reality Bites with Ethan Hawke and Winona Ryder, Ace Ventura: Pet Detective, The Getaway with Kim Basinger, I'll Do Anything, On Deadly Ground with Steven Seagal, My Girl 2, and Blank Check, which also features Mr. Chris Demetrol from this episode. He was a busy guy that
Yay.
year.
My Girl too.
The
That was a good-
best.
That was a good movie. I
The
forgot
best
about it.
1994 movie, I believe. No.
Not as good as My Girl, the original, but
Mm,
you know.
different vibe for sure.
Mhm.
Yes.
Every Lois and Clark episode had a title, and this one's fairly straightforward. Foundling refers to a child who has either been abandoned or has been somehow separated from their parents, and then they're usually found by a stranger. Any baby left on the doorstep type of situation. In this episode, it could refer to Clark, or Jack and his brother, or both. All right, before we get into our actual episode discussion, we have our very own summaries in 16 words or less. And today we start with Julie.
My summary is Clark in nothing but his boxers. Oh, yeah. And the globe from Strange Visitor is back.
Perfect.
Alrighty then.
I love it. Actually, that's a really good one. I noted we haven't seen that in a while, so that's a very good point to make.
Two of the
I
best
have-
parts.
Mine is a stupid, no, mine is a very silly poem that I don't know why
Ooh.
I just came out. Clark's globe starts talking, then it goes a walking. Lex's art collection's rocking, and here's Jack.
Nice.
I
You
love
have a
it.
songwriting career in your future. Taylor Swift, move over.
Yeah.
I love it. That's good.
Amazing.
Okay, mine is 90s cute boy steals Clark's mysterious Krypton globe. Suddenly, Clark has some splaining to do. It is what it is. Yeah.
Well, Julie, do you have any memories of your first time watching this episode?
Very vaguely, I just remember thinking, we are back on track. This is one that I really liked then. I really liked Jack. I mean, he was there for us girls at that time, for
Mhm.
sure. He was very cute. And I remember being excited about seeing the globe again. Like maybe this will be along the same lines as the Trask episode, which I really liked back then. That's about it, really. Excitement.
I have no memories of seeing this one when it aired, but when I was sent a tape of The Arrival and something else folks sent me, I remember there was exactly 15 minutes of The Foundling stuck on the end of that tape. And I didn't care if the whole episode wasn't there. I would watch those 15 minutes quite over and over. And I was like, ooh, now we get to find out where Jack came from. And that was pretty much my first memory of seeing the episode. Once again, just seeing a bit of it.
Jack. It's all about Jack. Mine, I kind of was like, who is this Jack guy? He's kind of bad. Do I like him? Do I not like him? I'm intrigued. That's my memory. I just remember it was just about Jack. And I liked the dynamic that he brought to it. I thought, is he going to be a good character or is he not going to be a good character? But I was intrigued, so I was along for the ride and I was very excited because he was cute.
All right, Jen, why don't you tell us about some of the guest stars we've got going today?
Alrighty. We have Chris Demetral, who played Jack. He is best known for the TV show Dream On, Dolly Dearest, and the TV movie Sometimes They Come Back. He did 22 episodes of The Secret Adventures of Jules Verne, but hasn't done much since the early 2000s. Meanwhile, he only did 4 episodes of Lois and Clark, but he left a lasting impression. That's my own editorial commentary in there. Richard Belzer played Inspector Henderson. He is a returning character. We've covered his projects before, so I will not get into him. Robert Costanzo played Louis. He's best known for Total Recall, Die Hard 2, Saturday Night Fever, and City Slickers. He's also done a number of TV shows such as Will and Grace, Murphy Brown, The Nanny, Mad About You, and he was in 2 episodes of Lois and Clark. He does come back in season 2 for, do you know what episode it is? Do you guys? Molly knows. Julie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yep.
It's one of our favorites. Tempus Fugitive. Cannot wait. But he comes back as a gun shop owner, not Louis. Well, I guess he could be Louis.
He could be Louis. We don't know.
He could.
Technically could be. Yep. Technically could be. I also know him as Joey's father on Friends.
No way.
Now we've had all 3 parents show up on Lois and
Yes.
Clark
Oh, wow.
that are
That's
going
cool.
to. I mean, Elliot Gould, Morgan Fairchild, and Robert Costanzo.
I
Yes.
had no idea. You know, when you're scrolling through their credits, I scroll and some, you see friends and everything, but I don't pin them to a certain episode or anything unless I dive deep to it. Oh my gosh, English is hard. Unless I dive deeper and spend more time than I'm sometimes willing to do. So nice. That's good to know.
Right.
Tony J played Nigel St. John. We don't need to cover him because we've done that a million times. David Warner played Jor-El. He is best known for Star Trek VI, Tron, and Titanic. He was Spicer Lovejoy. Thank you very much. Never knew that before. So he was fabulous. He was also in 20 episodes of Doctor Who, The New Adventures of Bernice Summerfield, and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Brandon Bloom played Denny. This kid was a little older than we were at the time. Best known for Colors, Dynasty, The Colbys, and Empty Nest. And whoa, nostalgia hit. Do you guys remember that show?
Yes.
Yeah.
Forgot about it until I read it. I remember his dog on that show. Okay. Anyway, he was also in Lois and Clark, and that was the last thing he's done. So maybe Lois and Clark kind of like turned him off to acting. I don't know.
But what a way to end it. I mean, I'm just saying.
Going out with a bang, I guess. But Brandon, if you're out there, you should do something. Let us know you're out there. Let us know you're alive. Eliza Roberts played Laura. She is best known for National Lampoon's Animal House, My Last Best Friend, The Tasmanian Devil, and Hippo. She is still active in filming things as of 2025, but she did shows like Knots Landing, St. Elsewhere, and a CBS School Break special back in the day. And that's what I got.
There's really not a lot of actors in this episode.
7 guest stars, and some of them are regulars. And when it comes down to it, like, does Denny really count? Because he was kind of
Is Jack adjacent? He should be top billed after Jack.
He didn't have very many lines. I mean, nothing against this Brandon kid.
Who played the little
was nice.
baby?
Yeah, who's the baby? How can they never credit these babies?
Right? I want to know
That's
who's
a good
baby
point.
hello.
That is a good point. I don't know. It was not on there.
Yeah, let's get into the episode.
All right. We begin with Clark in bed, clearly not sleeping well, when he suddenly awakens and sees a light coming from a little box on his shelf. He gets out of bed to check it out, in only his plaid boxers, mind you. I think my little 13-year-old self just fainted, by the way. He walks over, grabs a key, and unlocks the box to reveal the globe. You know the one that he stole from the Bureau 39 warehouse back in Strange Visitor. The globe shows Earth, but quickly changes to a red-tinged map of Krypton, then glows bright white. He touches it, and a holographic image of his bio-dad Jor-El appears before him. Clark learns that his name is Kal-El and that his father has 5 messages for him about his heritage. We flash to a scene with Jor-El clearly on Krypton in what looks to be a lab. He talks of searching for a suitable place. For what, we do not yet know. We see Lara, Clark's bio-mama, and then tremors begin. Earthquake, what would you call it? Krypton quakes, I guess. Krypton quakes begin, and they hold each other as they look worried. The light goes out on the globe. He picks it up and he says aloud,
Kal-El.
And we fade to the intro.
Yep, Clark is hearing his birth name for the first time. He's almost 28 years old at this point, and he's seeing his bio parents for the first time. And this is like pretty major. And I really like, there's a quote that Jor-El has. It says, or he says, "Considering what is to come, this is my greatest consolation that we are together." And that's like the perfect quote for Lois and Clark as well, especially season 3 and 4.
What do you think about her being a redhead? They don't look anything alike.
Her and Clark, yeah.
Yeah.
I think genetics work differently on Krypton.
That's what I was going to say.
They must. But I do like to see that I have the costume that Laura is wearing in this. I love it. It's like one of my favorite things that I own, and it's right next to me, and I'm like,
It's so cool.
there it is. So Clark goes to Smallville to talk with his parents about the globe. However, it's been months, and he never mentioned it to them before. I thought that was kind of weird.
I didn't get
What
that
are your thoughts?
impression. I didn't get that impression that he hadn't mentioned it to them before.
You didn't get that? That's what I got from that, because they were like, tell me
No.
about this globe, and he was telling them about how he stole it and didn't tell Lois.
Kept it from
and
Lois.
I'm like,
yeah.
Never told them?
No, I think he had. I think he was catching them up, and more importantly, catching the audience up in case they hadn't seen Strange Visitor.
True,
But I
they had
got
to
the
go over it.
impression that it wasn't a total shock to them.
Okay.
But we have different, that's all right.
Well, they contemplate why the globe took so long to show the messages, and Clark wonders if maybe it just needed time to warm up to him, but just hopes that it will answer some of the questions he's always had about his life. Like, what was Krypton like? Why was he left? Who were his parents? Did everyone have powers? Will he continue to age normally? Can he die?
I remember thinking back in the day, watching this episode and hearing these questions he has, and this was probably after the series ended, thinking they actually go and answer all of these questions as the show goes on.
Yeah.
Good. It's
thought the
good for
same thing.
them.
Good job.
Yeah.
But no, the globe doesn't tell him any of these things. Well, some of them, but
Some of them.
2 of them. 2 of those questions.
I was just going to mention that Martha's hair is fan-freaking-tastic in this scene. It looks so beautiful. It's like smooth and shiny, and like there's curls. She looked so good. Whoever was doing her hair and makeup, like she looked beautiful. I just wanted to point that out because it's Kay. I want to give her the
all this
flowers.
Smallville stuff in this episode looked Pinterest worthy. Did you notice Martha's kitchen stove is classic vintage stove? I want it. I've never noticed that before.
Cool.
And
Very
the lighting
cool.
in Smallville and the
I
parents.
love the Smallville scenes. Yes.
They look good. I agree.
They looked amazing.
So now we are at the Daily Planet. It's clearly a slow news day. Lois is balancing a pencil on her upper lip. Kat is filing her nails, and Jimmy is just reading a magazine. Jimmy finds interest in one particular article stating that the statistical probability that any 2 people in Metropolis are blood related is over 90%, as long as both families have lived there for 3 generations. Kat is very disbelieving, saying,
You and I are related?
Well, as long as both of our families have lived in the area the last 3 generations.
I don't think so.
Lois cups Jimmy's chin, gives him a good look over and teases that there is definitely a family resemblance. Kat is offended and again says, I don't think so. And a bet is made. If Jimmy wins, a night of passion. If Kat wins, she wants him to repaint her entire condo. But I love the quote of Kat's where he goes, a night of passion. And she says, yours or mine? And Jimmy says, well, optimistically ours, but realistically mine. He knows.
At least he knows.
Yeah.
He's no dummy.
They agree, and Lois is instantly all in, asking for detailed family trees and even blood tests.
And she wants him by tomorrow. That would not happen. Except maybe blood type. You could get your blood type or whatever, but not like genetic testing. Not back then.
Yeah.
And not in a day.
Even like detailed family like trees and all of that in a day, or even just get them done tonight. Like there's no internet, right? Not really.
Yeah. That's
Like,
fast.
you just have to do it all by memory and like calling your parents and
I do want to point out, and I'm not saying this to be mean, why is she so anti-Jimmy? When, if we're thinking back to the perfume episode,
pheromone.
yes, she was in the copy room with this other guy who was old. Jimmy's a good-looking guy.
Jimmy's like a little brother, I think.
Okay.
Perry interrupts them with news that the writing team of Lois and Clark have been nominated for a Merriweather Award for journalistic excellence. Jimmy congratulates Clark, saying,
CK, you are the man.
then sees Lois's glare and quickly adds,
You are the woman.
I like Kat's quote, though, of,
More or less.
All right, let's get back to work. It's just an announcement, not a national holiday.
she's just got to get that dig in there.
So mean.
Poor Lois. Perry asks Lois how her story about the recent crime rise was going. It's clearly not going great. She still doesn't have an angle, but she's feeling the pressure now that she's up for this award. Clark's phone rings, and we learn that his apartment's being robbed, or has been robbed.
Oh. We should point out, though, like right before this. Well, because Perry told Lois, this award, I guess this award is like more of they nominated them as a reporting team rather than in a specific article that they did. And Perry says something to Lois like, let's try to get one more story out that'll really sell them. And she says, or they say something like, well, these inspirations, these leads don't just fall out of the sky. And Lois is like, and then the phone rings and it's crime on the other end.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, at first she's all sympathetic about it, but then she's like, ooh, this could be the angle that I need for my story. What a jerk. Lois, what the heck?
This whole episode. Ugh.
It's not a good look.
No.
Before she says she'll go with them, she says, it must be so violating to have some absolute stranger pawing through your personal belongings. And I was like, Lois, you remember like 3 episodes ago when somebody literally came into your house, copy and pasted it, and stuck it in an underground lair?
Oh, yeah.
Did you not feel slightly violated when that happened, or have we forgotten that?
That's very true and still very creepy.
Yeah. That's worse.
Creepy stalker level. So back at Clark's apartment, he is looking around at all of his things that are thrown around, and Lois is like, you shouldn't be messing with anything until the cops arrive, but he doesn't care, doesn't think they're really going to do anything, and really, he's not wrong because they really don't do anything. Henderson does arrive, and I love Henderson and Lois. Their little back and forth is great. They should have used him more, in my opinion, because I love it.
Yeah.
I love how Lois says, what's our first move? Lois, do you live here? No. Then our first move is you butt out, okay? It's great. Henderson tells Clark to fill out an inventory form, but not to hold his breath because there have been a lot of break-ins lately, and he goes to leave.
Why?
Oh, yeah.
Why did Clark let Lois follow him to his apartment? Because when your stuff is scattered everywhere and you have this massive secret, you don't know what you're walking into. What if his Superman suits had been broken into? What if they were scattered around the apartment? What if, I mean, I don't know, like, who knows what could have been uncovered? I just feel like if you're a smart person keeping a secret, you say, well, boundaries. Hold on back just a little bit. And in my opinion, I think that's weird that he let her do that, but plot, so whatever.
I wasn't even thinking about the super suits.
Right?
That's a good thing they didn't find those.
She's already busted into his house multiple times. He must be pretty confident in his methods of secrecy as far as keeping that stuff really well hidden, which I guess he should have hidden the globe better.
Right.
Too.
And I have thoughts later on coming up on something that's in this episode that we'll get to. Same general concept, but anyway, we'll get there.
Yeah, I guess if he'd never been robbed before, you don't expect it to happen.
True.
You're not
You do
thinking
not.
and he's like in shock.
All right, so back to the episode. Lois, just having to butt in, basically calls all the cops lazy for not trying harder and looking for clues, etc. And Henderson just says basically that it's a waste of time. Clark picks up the little box that the globe was in and notices that it is gone. And actually says,
It's gone.
Shush, Lois is there. She's going to ask what it is that you're talking about. Which, of course, she does.
What's gone? What's missing?
She does.
And he just says, oh, just like trophies, keepsakes, irreplaceable stuff is missing. But there's her angle. It's not monetary things. It's stealing part of somebody's past, a sense of vulnerability, invasion. Lois, come on. The poor guy is very upset. But she finally does realize, and she sits down and she's like, I'm sorry. And she knows somebody who can probably help get his stuff back. Lois. We cut to Jack dumping a large bag of loot on his cot in this abandoned building. We see a Walkman, CDs, an award of Clark's, and the globe. The globe begins to glow, and he says,
What are you?
and picks it up. Did anybody else think this was a weird line? Like, what are you? I just thought it was a weird line. Like, what are you? I wouldn't have said, what are you? I would be like, what is that? Or, you know,
What the heck?
like, what the heck is
Or
that?
Yeah.
Well, he picks it up, and Jarrell appears with a second message. And Jack's little brother awakens in the cot behind him, so he drops the globe, and Jarrell vanishes. His brother sees the globe, and they know they have hit the jackpot. It's going to be worth a lot of money if they sell it. Jack takes a Polaroid picture and says he just needs to advertise.
Question.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't Clark see it this time when Jack activates it when he can see it the other times coming down the line? I was confused by that. Is there a reason?
I thought the same thing.
My theory is that they say that it is attuned to Clark, which is why when Lex uses it, Clark can see it because Clark and Lex have been in contact in the past and are connected. At this point, Clark and Jack have never met. So when Jack's touching it, nothing. That's what I think.
Okay. That's a theory.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, then why else? Then why else wouldn't Clark see it right now and then he sees it later when Lex is touching it?
Because it would wreck the plot. The writers were maybe they were being lazy. I don't know. I have no idea. I really didn't know. I mean, maybe that it could be that maybe because he doesn't.
Yeah, that's what I always thought, and I always thought like if Clark had maybe wondered that himself, being like, why can I see it all of a sudden? And I'm not saying he would have made the connection, like, maybe it's someone I know. Of course, Superman's met, like, everybody, so maybe that wouldn't even...
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know. Well, I just wanted to ask because I got confused when he could see it later, but this time he couldn't see it. So
That's a good thought, because that's always kind of bothered me too. And I was like, well, maybe because it wasn't like a full message, but then he sees it later when it's a partial message too.
right. And he touches
So,
it again to get more of the message so he could take Polaroids for Lex. So it's like it
Yeah.
was split up into two, like it was broken. It was a broken message, right? But
Yeah.
he still got Jor-El enough to get some Polaroids because then Lex wanted to buy the globe from him. So I don't know.
I'll take it because I got nothing. So Lois and Clark enter a pool hall looking for Louis, Lois's contact that she believes can help. Clark has clearly been drugged there against his will. Lois asks the guy who's playing pool if Louis was there. He kind of ignores her until she steals the ball and he goes off to find him. What I find funny is that Clark picks up the pool stick and starts playing. You don't think that guy's going to be irritated you just messed up his game?
Is it really a game when you're playing by
Well,
yourself? Also, we cannot have Clark pass by sports and not participate in sports. That would just break the show.
True.
Yeah.
True. In the script, there was actually a little super scene here with the pool table and everything, where he sinks 6 balls using his super breath.
Ooh, that was
He
cut?
hits it. He almost gets it into the little hole or whatever you call it, and then he uses his super breath to like whoop, push it in.
Oh, fun.
In front of Lois.
I guess Lois
This
has
guy
just walked
is-
away.
This guy is messy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, but they cut that. I don't know if they filmed it, but it was in the script. We find out how Lois knows this guy. Not because she knows people and it's her job or whatever she gives some random excuse for. It's because his daughter was her tennis doubles partner in college. Lois played tennis in college? What? Does this seem off character to you? Because it does to me.
Yeah,
I don't see her playing tennis.
I don't either. Golf, maybe.
Golf, yes. Tennis, no. I don't
Yeah.
know why I don't see it. I see it as like an off thing for her, but
Yeah.
apparently she plays tennis.
She is this woman of so many different extracurriculars that never get brought up more than once. You got the chess club and the math club.
Yes.
Later on, you got the Miss Popularity cheerleading, whatever she was doing in It's a Small World.
Plus, she was in the
Tennis.
boxing world. She was a
But-
jack of all trades.
Mm-hmm.
A jack of all trades.
A jack. Oh my gosh. We cannot any more full circle than this. I can't English.
Anyway, Louis comes out eating this massive sandwich and says that he can find the guy, but needs a list of what's missing so he can look out for it. Clark is clearly uncomfortable and just wants the police to handle it, but Lois is like, heck no, I need this for the story.
The part where Louis says, when Louis and Lois and Clark are in the room talking about the robbery and him finding these guys, Louis says to Clark, well, do you need any help with the insurance claim? I know guys who know guys. And I remember as a kid thinking, like, why would he say no? Don't you want help asking for your insurance claim thing? You know, that sounds like a tough thing to go through, and you'd want help. And now I realize, oh, he's talking about fraud.
Yeah.
Makes
No,
more
no.
sense now.
Oops. Yeah.
Outside in the alley, Jack meets up with Lex and Nigel to sell the globe. However, Lex is hidden in shadows, being all mysterious. Why did he even go? Is my question. He probably could have just stayed home and sent Nigel.
Lex always seems to show up at those alley switcheroos that when he doesn't have to. I mean, if he wasn't there, would we, the audience, know
Exactly.
that he
Yeah.
is behind it? Or would we just be like, oh, has Nigel gone rogue?
Oh, it's Nigel. Yeah.
What's Nigel
Good
doing
point.
without
Just-
his BFF?
You just hope that there's a shadow somewhere he can stand in.
Right? Better be at night.
So Jack touches the globe to show what it can do, and the second message begins to play again. He collects his $1,000. Should have asked for a lot more than that, man. Come on.
No kidding.
They would have paid a lot more than that for sure. But thankfully, he doesn't tell where he really found it, lying that he found it in a dumpster. Lex is super excited that it has something to do with Superman. But yes, he would have paid a lot more money than $1,000. I'd pay more than $1,000 for that prop. So if anybody has that prop, I will buy it from you.
Knowing what we know about Lex, though, I'm glad he only asked for 1,000, because if he had asked for more, Lex still would have gotten the globe, but he also probably would have taken his money right back and taken down Jack in the process, because that's how Lex is.
Yeah.
So he's like, 1,000, you're not worth killing. It's not worth killing you over at this moment, you know?
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, we're back in the Daily Planet newsroom, and Jimmy and Kat are looking over Jimmy's family tree. After hearing about Jimmy's Aunt Millie, Kat says,
If it turns out that you and I have any of the same genes, I'm having mine altered.
I love their banter. They're so cute.
That's such a great line.
Lois and Clark are both sitting at Lois's desk. Lois is working on her article about the robberies and speaking what she's typing simultaneously. So she's typing it, she's talking about it, and it's all very insensitive to Clark and what he's going through. And poor Clark, he's sitting there too. He's got his head on his hands. He looks utterly depressed. He's rubbing his shoulder. Finally, Lois notices, and she stands up and begins massaging Clark's shoulders. Immediately, Lois says, "Oh, you're so tight. You're like iron." To which Clark absently says, "Steel." Lois says, "What?" And Clark's face right here, he's like, his eyes just get really big all of a sudden. He's like, I'm still trying to recover from my loss. So nice save there. Well, Clark admits that he didn't sleep at all the night before because he's been up worrying about who has that globe and what they could find out about him. I mean, he doesn't even know yet that someone else could use it, but even so. Right. So Lois, she tells him to snap out of it and put it behind him.
Insensitive.
But then it's like, hey, by the way, did you finish your inventory list? No, he says, and she wonders why he's stalling. And he asks, why do you care? Lois says that, well, Louis might still discover something. Clark doubts that for sure. But then, as if on cue, the phone rings, and it's Louis.
I do like where she was talking about, like, she doesn't care about his, like, bottle caps or love letters from Lulu May, and that was cute.
So cute.
Mrs. Blue Ribbon Smallville Soapbox Derby.
And I mean, maybe he does have some of that, but considering what he has lost and he's not able to tell her, I just kind of want to put a piece of tape over her mouth and get her to stop it.
Seriously.
So Lois and Clark go to Louis, and Jack is there, and he's handcuffed to a chair. Most of Clark's stuff is now spread out on the pool table. Louis says that Jack tried to move this stuff through a guy that knows a guy he knows. Louis also has Jack's cash that he got from Lex/Nigel. Lois asks Jack if he robbed Clark's apartment, but Jack says he found that stuff in a dumpster. Clark asks Jack how old he is, and Jack sassily replies,
"How old are you?"
And I love it.
Jack.
That was cute.
He's got a mouth on him.
I think that's a great question, though, when a slightly older adult asks you how old you are. Just sass right back. Come on. Jack tells them,
"Look, I don't know anything, so let me go."
And we now see that Louis handcuffed him to a chair. Lois is shocked by this. Louis explains, though, careful, you got yourself a real rabbit here, and tosses Lois the cuff keys. Lois unlocks them and then asks Jack again if he robbed Clark's apartment. Jack still won't answer. Clark tries asking some questions. He tells Jack they don't have to go to the police. He just wants to, get some answers to some questions, especially about some particular items that are still missing, especially one in particular. And he and Jack kind of meet each other's eye. So, Jack knows what he's talking about. And Jack looks away.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Lois starts to say something, and then Jack is out of there. He snatches back his cash, knocks into Louis, and runs out the door. Lois cries, "Clark, grab him!" And Clark's like, "Ugh, okay, fine," and jogs out the door.
She could have been running after him too.
Ah, well, I wouldn't
Clark, go
there.
get him. What the heck? Clark, go get him.
Bossing him around as usual. Tim,
Rules for ya.
you'll take me to dinner, put on my jacket, chase that boy down the street too.
I like how Clark just does it though. Like, okay.
Well, this is
Yeah,
actually a great
right.
opportunity for him. This is exactly what he wants to do, is to have Jack alone. Yeah, so it's not a bad thing. So Lois does stay behind, and she glances at some of the stuff on the pool table. And that's when she notices a couple of Polaroids that Jack had taken. One is of Jor-El, obviously wearing the S shield, and there's sort of a map of Krypton projected behind him. And the other is of the globe itself sitting on a pile of junk. Lois looks stunned.
This is what I'm talking about. Clark saw all his crap on the table. Like, he looked at it and he's looking through it, and is any of this stuff yours? And he's, well, yeah, this is most of it, right? You see the Polaroids sitting out in there. Why don't you put them in your pocket or, hide them?
They, to me, looked like they were kind of wedged under the camera. Lois kind of pushes something and then kind of pulls it out. That was my impression, that it wasn't just on the surface looking up.
Okay. But
Yes, he should have.
he should have been a little less sloppy, because this is his, like, if anyone had seen a Polaroid of a man wearing an S, this is problematic if you're going to keep your secret identity.
I think it's one of those things where you're looking for what you're looking for. You're not looking for things you weren't expecting.
Right.
Those Polaroids weren't Clark's. He wasn't looking for
Right.
that. He didn't know they existed. And
I
he's
guess,
looking for the
yeah.
globe, and the globe's not there. So
Okay. I'll take that then, I guess.
well, I mean, and you're right though. I mean, it's single-minded,
Yeah.
laser vision.
Anyway, sorry. That's it.
So Louis notices the look on Lois's face and says, "Problem, sweetheart?" Lois tells Louis, "I think Clark's been holding out on me." Louis graciously offers to find some guys to rough up Clark for her, but Lois just smiles and kind of declines. Not today.
Maybe later.
Depends on things, how things go. That would be
Nice.
so funny. Like later in the episode, after she talks to Perry, she's like, "Clark didn't answer my question. Boo, 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 boo. Louis, send your guys." No, Lois is not that mean. We cut to Jack running around a corner and hiding next to a building. He waits a moment, then rounds another corner where he runs smack into Clark. Clark grabs Jack's arms and says,
I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm not gonna hurt you.
and pleads with Jack to just answer his question about the globe and who has it. Jack says he sold it. He had to. And when Clark asks if Jack possibly knows where the globe is now, Jack says no, and that's the truth. Clark takes his hands off Jack and asks for his name, which Jack gives, but Jack doesn't give a last name. Jack asks Clark if the globe is his, Clark's, and Clark says,
I've been keeping it.
Jack asks how the globe works and says something about the guy with the Superman S. And Clark immediately grabs Jack again, and this time he grabs a little too hard, going, "How did you?" And Jack's like, ouch, grimaces. Clark apologizes and lets go again, but says, "How do you know about him?" Meaning the guy with the Superman S, Jor-El. And Jack explains that when he touched the globe, a man appeared. Poor Clark at this point, thinking, I have now missed my second message. I feel bad. Clark says, "What did he say?" And Jack says, something about this is the second time I'll appear, but that's all he heard. Jack then asks Clark,
You gonna cut me loose?
Clark asks Jack where's he gonna go, but Jack ain't telling. He also forbids Clark from following him. Clark ends up giving Jack his business card. He says, in case you ever want to talk. And then, when he sees Jack rubbing his shoulder, also gives Jack his coat, saying, "Take it, it's freezing." Well, it may be freezing, but you also hurt the kid's arm, Clark. That's why he's rubbing it. Hello. Well, anyway, Jack takes the coat, and the two of them kind of look at each other for a minute, and then Jack runs off.
I kind of wonder if Clark wonders if his globe is broken, because Jack mentions that he dropped it. Because his face, after he said he dropped it, it went kind of like, oh no.
Yeah.
Like it could be broken.
But if it was broken, he wouldn't have sold it.
Yeah.
Or nobody
True.
would have bought it.
True. That's true.
But meanwhile, back at his apartment, Clark is on the phone with his parents. He is telling them that he didn't know what else to do in the Jack situation. I mean, he believed that Jack didn't know where the globe was, so he let him go. And Martha says to Clark of what feels like a very motherly thing to say, and yet in an annoying way, she says, "You have got to get that globe back before it gives up any more information about your past." Well, yes, Durhay, mother, thank you for nagging me about this.
Duh.
I know.
Thanks,
He
Mom.
would if he could.
I
Jeez.
know. She's like, "Son, you need to go out." And he's, "Oh man, but the game's on."
I don't want to.
Clark admits to his parents, "I've never felt so exposed before." And he's sort of just thinking out loud at this point. He says, "If I'm exposed, then everyone close to me is exposed too." And then he gets a really terrible thought. He says, "What if Lois puts me and the globe together? And what if she figures out that I am Superman?" Well, sweet Jonathan says, "We'll jump that fence when we get to it." And then Martha tells Clark to go find the globe again. Sounds like it's like my mom. I'm like, "I know I need to get ready. Thank you. Go away." It's good that we love Martha though.
Parents. That's what they're there for.
I really like this whole phone scene though, because even though Clark is in Metropolis and they're in Smallville and the actors aren't all together, it really feels like to me that they are having a real life conversation and that they are sitting right next to each other. It's so natural sounding and it's so angsty too. Good acting, y'all. Good
Yeah.
acting.
Mm-hmm.
And
Very
I
good.
always like when they have Clark with no glasses.
Yeah,
Me
he takes them
too.
off, kind of rubbing his temples, and
You don't see that very often.
yeah, he does a lot in this episode with not just facial expressions and voice stuff, but a lot of just gestures and things that really feel like acting. Ooh.
Wow. He's turned a corner from the last,
Just
what
saying.
was it, 2 episodes ago when he was
All shook
Well,
up.
maybe not
not
turned
having
a
his
corner,
best moments.
maybe peeked around a corner and
peeked
then
around a corner. Okay, yeah.
Peeked around.
We're not all the way around the corner. We're just
No, not for sure.
we're just
A little
a little
farther.
bit inching.
But I will give kudos where kudos are due, and that this is a good scene.
We are not in the all shook up, "I'm here" era.
We cut to Lex and Nigel in a windowless room where they walk toward a pedestal with a little blue silk cushion on the top. Lex has got this place all ready for his latest acquisition, possibly his most prized yet, the globe. Lex tells Nigel he wants the globe analyzed atom by atom. And then Lex says, while still staring lovingly at the globe, "We stand on the verge of an historic moment." To which Nigel replies, "Yes, I can feel the vibrations." And I sense some sarcasm here. Nigel seems a bit disingenuous in this scene. And as the scene goes on, Nigel's face continues to give me pause. I know we've had some discussions about Nigel's feelings for Lex, which clearly Lex does not reciprocate. I have said in the past that I think that Nigel might secretly hate Lex and just be kind of hanging on to him for the power and the money and the prestige. I know you guys are more on the side of there's a secret love thing going on, maybe.
I don't know if I'm on that necessarily.
But the looks on Nigel's face throughout this whole scene, he looks scared in a way of the amount of love Lex is showing towards this whole situation. And this is the last time we're going to see Nigel until the Phoenix. He is gone after this episode. And the next time we see him, there's no love. And
That's true.
So,
Interesting.
I mean, I'm sure that Tony J had other projects. They couldn't get him back, the whole Mrs. Cox thing, whatever. But ignoring all that and just saying for like fan theories, there could be something here.
Interesting.
Anyway.
Okay.
Well, anyway, Lex, either way, does not catch Nigel's tone like I think he has, because Lex is 100% in love with this globe. Lex then goes around pointing out some of the treasures slash plunderings he's accumulated. He has the missing arms of the Venus de Milo. He has Gainsborough's Yellow Boy, Beethoven's 10th Symphony, the better, quotes, self-portrait of Vincent van Gogh, which is a huge yikes, and the full figure of the Mona Lisa. And he has some other art things around that are like reminiscent of the great masters, but he does not name them all.
I like the better self-portrait. I think it's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Of the severed ear.
Julie likes her
It's great.
dismembered body parts.
Yes, I do.
I always thought it was clever that he had this room full of like the missing pieces of these famous art sculptures and paintings. The full figure of the Mona Lisa. I'm sorry, no, whatever. But it is kind of fun to think about what else could be out there, you know?
It's fun
Lex would
creating a
have it.
museum.
Julie would know.
Oh, well, Julie, well, I was going to say we were talking about with Witness, where the whole makeup thing comes back in season 3. I feel like season 3, they were just plucking from season 1 galore because don't tug on Superman's cape.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep.
Go ahead, Jennifer.
What'd you find?
I found it. It says, and here, the arms of the Venus de Milo right there.
Hey.
So they acquired it. On the right, the original draft of the Magna Carta.
Okay, that's different.
This car, of course, one of a kind. We're just batty about it.
Batty.
And on the right, the original draft of the Magna Carta. It's a room full of treasures. No one knows they're here. They're just for us. And now we'd like to add something else to our collection. So anyway, yes, they have it.
Oh,
Okay, so
keep going.
I already mentioned Nigel's face in this scene. Holy moly. Anyway, Lex drones on about how he and Superman have had their conflicts, but until now, Lex has never held something so important. A wedge, he calls it, something that he can use to break Superman to his will. Lex says, now finally, the globe will change all that. Lex then takes off the gloves he's been wearing and touches the globe with his bare hands, and it begins to light up. Clark, who's still in his apartment, senses the globe activating this time. And this is the third globe message. We learn here that unmanned Kryptonian probes have been all over the galaxy, and using data from those probes, Jor-El and Lara have finally found a place that they might be able to safely send their baby. Jor-El mentions that they may not have time to get a vessel for him and Lara, I presume, ready. So they're running out of time. Like you said, there's already jolts and earthquakes happening on Krypton, and we get a glimpse of baby Kal-El lying in a little bed with like a dome cover. Very cute little baby. As soon as the message ends, Clark calls his parents and tells them that someone else is using the globe and that they and he saw the message. And Clark says, they're closing in on me, Dad. Back at Lex's lair, the globe has stopped transmitting, and Lex is like, come on, he keeps touching it, but the globe is not ready to activate again, and they say, well, maybe it's, recharging. So Lex says, well, let's go to bed. I can hardly wait for chapter 3. Well, it's actually chapter 4, but Lex never saw the very first part that Clark saw, so to Lex, this would be the third message, I guess, that he's waiting for. Back at the Daily Planet, Jimmy, Kat, Clark, and Lois are sitting around a table. Jimmy and Kat are still going on about their family tree. They discover a wild connection that makes them cousins by marriage. Only the two of them seem to think it's a blood connection. It is rather convoluted. Jimmy says, well, cuz, meaning cousin to Kat, your place or mine. Kat is horrified and runs out of there. Perry comes in and congratulates Lois on a well-written article. He especially liked the personal angle. Clark mutters, yeah, my robbery really came in handy. He isn't wrong. She did use that to her advantage. On the other hand, her connection with Louis did lead to Jack, which, well, maybe that's not going to help Clark find the globe, but it brought us Jack. I'm not mad about it. Anyway, Lois gives Clark a look, and Jimmy, sensing Clark's bitter tone here, says,
I thought you got your things back. No harm, no foul.
Clark kind of sighs and mopingly says,
Yeah, I guess.
Lois sees this as an opportunity to get him to give her info because she has seen those Polaroids and wants to know what's up.
Everything? Are you sure?
Most everything.
There wouldn't be some unimportant item, knick-knack, meaningless memento that was still missing? Yeah, because if there was, we should keep looking. Leave no stone unturned, no matter how long it takes, just till you get that useless, valueless keepsake back.
And finally, Clark, feeling like she's maybe getting a little too close to the truth, excuses himself. So Perry's in the room, Lois is sitting across, and Jimmy's still sitting there. And Perry asks Lois what's up. And then they kind of just shoo Jimmy out of the room with a look, which I think is hilarious. And then Perry and Lois have a cute little conversation where, Perry says, well, I could tell you some random Elvis story and tie it into your problem, but that would seem kind of heartless. So instead, maybe let's just get right to what the problem is. Here's the problem. Lois says, I don't think I can trust Clark anymore. Perry asks why. Lois responds, he lied to me. Perry looks rightfully confused. Don't you lie to him? Of course I lie to him all the time. Perry's like, oh, well, I'm not even going to go near that. Perry asks Lois if she has confronted Clark over this, like gotten right to the point and said, I know that you lie to me. And Lois says, no, I just tried it. But Perry's like, no, you got to be direct. Go to Clark, be direct, ask him. And he then goes on to say something about fixing things before they're broken, and he gets a little off track, to which Lois decides to just stop him and say, okay, Perry, next time, I want an Elvis story, please. And he says, don't worry, I got a million of them. Clark ends up going back to the area where he last saw Jack, and he finds Jack's lair, I guess. It's a place, wherever Jack's staying. Jack demands to know what Clark's doing there, how he found him. Clark says, Louis, who knows guys, but I'm wondering if Clark just x-rayed over all the buildings. Who knows? Clark notices Jack's younger brother, Denny, peeking around a corner, and he's wearing the jacket that Clark gave Jack earlier. I know, it's so sweet.
So sweet.
Clark expresses concern about their living conditions and asks if there's someone they can turn to, but Jack says, we've tried everything. We're better off this way. Just ask me the question you came for, get out, that kind of thing. So Clark asks Jack for a further description of the men who bought the globe. And Jack kind of badly describes Nigel. He says, tall, skinny English dude.
Right? Skinny? I wouldn't
skinny.
call him skinny at all. Not that
English,
he's like,
yes.
Yeah.
Gray
I wrote
hair,
the same
white
thing in my
hair.
notes. I wrote skinny? Question mark?
Yeah, tall
Okay.
English dude sounded like the asylum director from Beauty and the Beast for some reason. I don't, never seen him before or since. Clark then says he wants to help Jack somehow, but Jack says he doesn't want help, leave us alone, and Clark reluctantly leaves.
Lex is now pacing around his art-filled room, reading a report after they had tested the strange globe. It's definitely alien origin. And then suddenly the globe lights up. Lex and Nigel exchange a glance and then step forward and touch it, activating the device. As they do, Clark kind of winces and holds his head because, of course, that's what he does. His gaze fixes on the small lamp on his desk and a message begins to play, and Jor-El's voice begins to talk. And what we hear is Krypton is nearing the end of its existence. Jor-El's voice continues, explaining that they've discovered a planet suitable for his son called Planet Earth. He even mentions something about the planet's ethical standards. Sure, let's go with that. The message ends and the globe fades to darkness, leaving Lex standing there intrigued. Like he is playing this game and he is having a good time. Cat chasing the mouse. So anyway, now we're at the planet. Lois walks up to Clark's desk demanding the truth.
Clark? You and I are going to talk. I want the truth.
Clark looks up, confused, and asks.
About what?
Lois explains that she knows that Clark had a mysterious globe in his apartment, one that projects an image of a man wearing Superman's S. She tells him,
You're a weird guy, Clark. That's a given. But you're my partner, and I thought my friend. But half the time, I don't know where you are or where you're coming from. And that's usually okay, but this time it's not. I want an explanation, and I want it now. What's going on?
She is asking the wrong questions. She's asking Clark why he hid the globe from her when she should be asking how he hid the globe from her.
how? Yes.
How big were your pockets on that day we were thrown out of the plane, sir? How the hell did you get it out of Bureau 39 and safely to the ground? Because she also thinks he was thrown out of the plane. She's asking the wrong thing.
I think she is asking the wrong thing. I think this kind of displays what she's more hurt over. I think she's intrigued that he knew about the Superman thing, but I also think she's hurt because she cares now. Like, they're best friends, and he did not tell her this massive secret that he had. I think that is impacting her more.
Or she has completely blocked it out of her mind.
Maybe.
They don't mention that. They never mention it again. Remember that time we got thrown out of the plane? No?
Yeah.
No? That was
No big
fun,
deal.
wasn't it?
Traumatic.
That was just another Tuesday. Clark rises slowly. He's like looking guilty. And he says,
I thought it was for the best. But I guess I owe you the truth. You better sit down.
That's a tease because you almost think he's going to tell her he's Superman. I mean, it's.
and did they not use that in the promos? Like the
Ooh.
commercials and stuff? I feel like they did.
Yeah, it's definitely sort of a bait. Like,
Yeah.
we're supposed to think that's maybe what's going to happen.
I love how she says, "You're a weird guy, Clark." That's a given.
Yeah.
That's a given.
Aw.
That's her. She falls on that all the
She's not very
time.
nice in this. She's not
Well,
nice in
and
this
she
episode.
says half the time, I don't know where you are, which
Yeah.
could be, I don't know where you're coming from, like figuratively, but also you disappear a lot. But she says, you know, usually that's okay, which I love. You know what? She doesn't have tabs on him completely,
Yeah.
and she does let him have freedom and kind of just chalks it up to him being a weirdo and still
Yeah.
likes him. I think that's sweet. So
So Lois stares at him. She's looking a little puzzled and maybe a little confused. And I remember thinking, wow, is this where Clark finally tells her the truth? But keep in mind, I was a sweet, naive 13-year-old girl. And we have so far to go and so many of those. Is this the moment it happens? We have to ride through a lot of those. So not yet, 13-year-old Jen. Clark tells her, you better sit down. And he pulls a chair out for her. And that was also in the promos, I think, because I remember thinking, like, this is it. This is going to be the moment. So now Lex is waiting for the globe to light up and telling himself to be patient. Lex begins to ask Nigel to look into where this came from. In other words, figure out where Jack stole it from. These boys be scheming. So Clark and Lois have their little chat about the globe. Lois is replaying what Clark told her, that he found it, stuck it in his pocket, and just took it home with him, even though he knew it was probably related to Superman and that Lois would have killed to know about it. Clark's defense was, well, we weren't partners then. So Lois fires back.
Then, Clark, try never again. You lied, you stole.
Betrayed?
Don't edit my tantrums, Clark. I won't be responsible.
She is furious and she can't trust him now. This is where they have this amazing heated fight. The chemistry is really good. Lois calls him out for growing up in Smallville, like that's an excuse, while she grew up in Metropolis, two completely different worlds with completely different standards. Then she hits him with the big question.
What if it belongs to Superman? What if it's something he needs? How did you feel when somebody took your stuff? You know, he has feelings too.
this is the part where I wish Clark had said, well, I've been holding it for Superman. But then if he did that, there would be the question of, well, why isn't Superman helping us look for this?
Right.
why don't we get him involved? I see why he couldn't do that, but that would also have been a really good excuse. Like, yeah, I'm like later on in, was it Top Copy, where he's like, oh yes, Clark Kent keeps my suits for me because I don't have a place to store them, and that's the whole thing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh well.
Oh well. So Lois reminds him how it felt when his apartment was broken into and his things were taken. She asks how she can ever trust him again. Just then, the phone rings, and it's Denny. He's panicked. He says they took Jack and that they're going to hurt him. Clark immediately shifts gears, directing Denny to go to the police station and ask for Inspector Henderson. He hangs up the phone and turns to Lois. He admits that he hasn't been completely honest with her, but he can't get into that now. And I have to say, good on you, Clark. This is the first time you're being honest with her, admitting that you're lying to her.
This might also be our first instance of Lois going, don't you pick up that phone right now.
Oh.
He does anyway.
Mhm.
Yes.
Right. That's
Same.
right. Oh, that hurts when that happens later. So Clark asks her as his partner and his friend to just leave it at that, just this once. And then he darts off. Superman is now flying over Metropolis, scanning the city below. Meanwhile, Lex and Nigel are deep in conversation. They're discussing the patient who is Jack, because they kidnapped him and now they have him. Okay. Nigel explains that the lad put up quite a struggle, so they zapped him. They've run his fingerprints and uncovered his past, and they figured out like he's abandoned by his parents, he's shuffled through foster homes, and he's basically surviving on the streets through petty crime.
What did they do to him?
They zapped him.
With what?
Like
I don't know, like a
the thing,
a zapper.
the thing that makes you
Bug-
go,
bug
what's it
zapper.
A zapper.
A bug zapper. Not a-
Taser. The taser.
But he's way knocked out. I don't.
yeah, but they also,
I don't know.
Okay. Lex muses that they need to go out and find out from Jack where he got the globe. But before they can go further, the globe lights up, signaling that a new message is ready for their viewing pleasure. Lex steps forward and says, it's showtime. As Lex touches the globe, Superman pauses mid-flight, shaking his head as the message reaches him too, like a dog. Jor-El's voice fills the room, or in that case, just the aura of where Superman is in the universe, I guess. And he's explaining that they've installed a hyperlight drive, I think that's what he said, and tested it as best they can. I think he's referring to the globe. And it will navigate the ship to Earth. We see Lara and Jor-El gazing lovingly at their baby boy, and that scene to me is kind of heartbreaking because it's so cute. I feel bad for them because you know that they're basically giving their son, they're throwing him out into the universe, and they're gonna stay behind and perish. Womp womp.
I mean, like, we've all seen this go through like many different movies and shows, and have showed this very similar scene. I don't really know how Lois and Clark's is vastly different from any that are out there.
Yeah, just sad.
It is.
But anyway, then the alarms in Lex's building start to blare, and Nigel warns incoming. Lex and Nigel scramble to react, but it's too late. Superman is closing in. Here he comes. Nigel activates the self-destruct button. They abandon everything, even Jack. He's like alive in there. Lex tries to reach for the globe, hoping that he can take that with him, but suddenly the globe develops a personality and starts flying out of his grasp, and it rises into the air.
Well,
cool.
Superman is up there supposedly, or very nearby. I think the globe is like, oh, my friend is nearby.
My person.
My person. I'm going to my person.
Why didn't it do that when they were in the warehouse in whatever episode that was where he stole it? I'm opening up a can of worms that I don't need to be opening up. Superman bursts through the wall just in time. Do we call him the Kool-Aid Man again? Because I feel like he's got a reputation at this point.
There's got to be some other cartoon that breaks through walls. Although he now does it more often than Mr. Kool-Aid. So we could just call him the Superman.
Yeah, okay. That's fair.
Buster of walls.
Superman unties Jack, he uses his freeze breath to disable the self-destruct system. Self-destruct system. That's hard to say.
Freeze breath solves everything. Also,
Yeah.
Julie, how did you feel about the order in which Superman completed his tasks in this scene? Going back to illusions of grandeur.
Not
Yeah.
always the smartest order. He's just kind of looking around at all the artwork, like,
goes and unties Jack, then goes and deals with the panel. Yeah. Gotta be
priorities.
This also, I know he's used his freeze breath before, but I feel like this is his first instance of using the freeze breath to solve a problem in a way that freeze breath probably wouldn't really solve that problem in real life. And somehow it works.
Superman notices the globe hovering down toward him. As he catches it, the final part of the message plays. And it's Jor-El wondering what his son looks like now. P.S. He's hot, Jor-El. Whether he's alone. What he's No, what? He looks good. He wants to know what he looks like. Well,
thank goodness.
The question. He asked the question. I'm simply answering it.
Don't worry, Jor-El, your baby survived, and he brings all the ladies to the yard. And also,
yes,
Julie enjoys his boxer scenes. Sorry about your death.
Yeah, sorry about. So Jor-El is wondering what his son looks like now, whether he's alone, what he's become, etc., etc. He and Lara will never know. They can only hope that he'll survive, and he goes on to explain that he'll be sent to a place called Kansas. Okay. Honestly, I have to ask, why Kansas? I mean, no shade to Kansas, because, like, shout out to Dorothy and Toto, but out of all of the places, that is an interesting... What? It's an interesting choice. Why Kansas? Where would you send your baby to?
I feel like I've heard this one before, and they wanted to send it to somewhere where he wasn't going to, like, crash into anything. Of course, in Smallville, he takes out the town, but theoretically, you would send your ship to an inhabitable place, so not the North Pole, or maybe the North Pole, I don't know, but where you would likely to be found, where you would be likely to be found, but you wouldn't take out a bunch of buildings and houses on your landing. I mean, I think there could have been other places where that would be true also.
But... I just thought it was an interesting choice.
Interesting choice, yeah. There are other Superman sort of stories where he lands elsewhere.
Okay, well, anyway. The message ends and we see the tiny spaceship leaving Krypton and the planet exploding behind it. Sad day.
But great for the next opening credits.
True.
Next season.
So now Clark is sitting with his parents at the kitchen table. The globe is resting between them on the table, and he explains that he wasn't actually abandoned by his parents. He was saved. Martha wonders why they couldn't save themselves, and I had that same question. Clark says maybe the globe knows, and maybe someday it will tell them.
I thought it kind of already did. No, I thought it kind of already did, because he said one of Jor-El's first messages was like, we are trying to build a vessel or something, but we don't know if we'll have the time.
Yeah.
I just assumed that they ran out of time.
I did hear them say that at the beginning. I always thought the same thing. If they can build a shuttle for the baby, why can't they do it for themselves too? It just, I don't know. I don't know the logistics of building a rocket ship.
I remember in the animated series, they had to do it with Clark to sneak him out of there because they were being watched. And I remember that's one reason they couldn't escape, but they very sneakily sent Clark away. So I'm sure it's different depending on the version. But
so anyway, Jonathan changes the subject, asking about Jack and his brother. Clark explains that Denny's been placed in a good foster home and Jack's found a spot in a halfway house along with a job. Still, Clark admits that he has no idea who took Jack or the globe.
We got Denny into a good foster home, and Jack into a decent halfway house, and a job. He's a good kid. He just didn't end up on the right doorstep like I did. Until now.
No idea who took him or the globe?
No.
So he says that he hopes that it'll tell him someday, but it said that he had 5 messages for him. He heard all 5. So he should know that there is nothing else on that globe.
Right.
He's just hoping that there is, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't really hear it message 2 at all. Message 2 was cut off and Clark never heard it. I'm assuming the globe can rewind and replay things, and we'll never know what that said. I am
Yeah.
happy that the 5th message was the one where Jor-El mentioned Kansas, because if Lex had heard about Kansas, we'd be in a bigger trouble than we already are.
For
Absolutely.
sure.
So we now see Nigel and Lex looking over the Daily Planet story about Lex's art collection. Nigel says that Lex can always visit his pieces in the museum. Lex just kind of smirks and admits that it wouldn't be the same. And he says,
Give and take, Nigel. Win some, lose some. 1 step backward, 2 step forward.
then Lex's tone kind of shifts and he reveals that he now knows that the last Kryptonian infant was sent here to Earth. Superman arrived as a baby and was raised as a common Earthling. So he's learning more and he's figuring stuff out, and it's not good for Superman. He goes on to say, he walks among us, and when I discover who he is, he and everyone who helped keep his secret will be at my mercy.
Which is true 2 seasons from now. However, Lex doesn't really use this information when he finds out. He was just sort of told, so...
Yeah,
I kind of
yeah,
wish
yeah.
if Lex had been around more, they could have gone somewhere with this, but
I know. Lex.
it's like we'll get there, just not in the way we think from watching this episode.
Right. We're now back at the planet. Perry tells Lois that she had an incredible piece of journalism. It's too bad about the Merriweather Award, but maybe next time. Kat is still wondering where all the art came from, and Perry jumps on that, admitting that there might be a few follow-up stories worth chasing. He calls out to a kid passing by asking for a round of coffees. Jack turns around and fires back.
I don't do coffee. It's not the job description. Read the manual, Gramps.
I always thought that was funny, but now as an adult, saying that to your boss and elder, Jack, son, we need to talk. Clark just laughs at his desk. Perry understandably is confused, and he asks who the kid is, and he rushes after him. Jimmy laughs too, relieved to no longer be at the bottom of the food chain.
Lois looks terrified for him. like Perry's gonna kill Jack. Like, oh
And
crap!
kind of
What did
deservedly
you
so.
do?
Yeah.
No. Listen, if you've been offered a job with a set thing of your job description, and someone's trying to get you to do something that's not in it, it's maybe not in your best interest to say no, but
there are ways
you
to
can
say no without being a jerk about it.
Gramps.
Read the manual, Gramps.
Gramps.
Yeah.
It's funny how Grandpa and Gramps has become like an insult on this show. Like, oh, you're an old man,
yeah,
Grandpa.
true. Gosh, yeah. So Jimmy then asks Kat about their big night. Kat says it's null and void. She admits that she's always thought that Jimmy was kind of cute and that maybe before something could have happened. But now that they're related, she just can't.
I mean, after all, we're family.
It's not illegal.
It's not illegal. It's not illegal.
She doesn't want to do it. Get your horniness somewhere else.
And Lois walks up to Clark and saying that he didn't have to give her the full story. So now we know that he basically handed her the whole entire thing on a platter. Clark replies that he just hopes that now they're even. Lois smiles and says that they are. They're still partners. She admits that she forgives him and that if the roles were reversed, she probably would have done the same thing.
Taking the globe.
Turns out they're not so different at all. Yes, taking the globe. Lois then laughs and says, if we go back far enough, we're probably related. Clark smiles and says, "Somehow I doubt that." And Lois kind of questions him, and Clark shrugs and goes,
I'm from Kansas, remember?
How could I forget?
How could I forget?
"How could I forget?" Then Lois admits that she wishes she knew what the globe really was. She wonders where it might be now. So he gave it back to Superman, and Clark says,
Apparently.
and Clark says he bets it's somewhere safe. But then we cut to Martha and Jonathan pulling down this ladder from a rickety old treehouse, and inside the globe is like glowing inside. I don't think that seems ideal.
I don't have a problem with it at all.
Put it in a lockbox. Put it in a basement, a hidden bookshelf.
I think
Outside.
hiding it in the most obvious spot is the way to go, because Jonathan buried that spaceship 8 feet under the ground and somehow that got found. So
Yeah.
to put the globe in the treehouse, which has a name.
Okay. The Fortress of Solitude.
The Fortress of
Yes.
Solitude is the name of his treehouse.
Mhm.
They had to get that in there on the show at least once, and there it is.
But we know this globe can float now, and it can float away.
Yeah.
No.
Maybe
Oh,
put it
no.
in something locked and like bolted down to the treehouse floor or something.
So this episode has quite a few, references to the whole Superman origin story. And like you mentioned earlier, we saw the globe way back in Strange Visitor, and this is our first time seeing it since. I am glad that they came back to that and gave us a whole episode about it. The sad thing is, we pretty much never see it again.
Yeah.
And I kind of wish we had. But, these episodes with Clark's past are far and few between. Any thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
Smallville probably had some kind of big storm and it blew away.
Yeah. It is Kansas. Bringing it back to Kansas.
Yeah.
Tornadoes.
They had a tornado and it blew
Yeah.
away.
Yeah. Dude, that was just really dumb. I'm sorry. I love you, Martha and Jonathan, but find a better place.
I mean, I still think it's cute just because,
It is cute.
it's cute.
Story-wise.
But when you but when you think about it, not smart. Come on.
If it's the treehouse Clark hung out a bunch in as a kid enough to like name it, maybe the globe is just like, I sense Clark's presence here. I'm gonna chill.
That's true. Okay.
I'm gonna stay.
A few
right.
things I noticed, but that I haven't mentioned yet is I think this is the second of Lex's many underground lairs that he and his descendants are just gonna have all over town. And this one's under the Metropolis Art Museum. Just wild. I don't know if it has a tunnel connecting to his bunker. I would assume so. I assume that he just has tunnels going everywhere around Metropolis.
It's a good assumption.
All right, well, we can get into our special reports. Julie, did you notice any goofs or bloopers in this episode?
Well, we kind of talked a little bit about like continuity, or not really continuity, but about
Logistics.
how Clark. Yeah. So I don't know that I need to bring that up about the whole globe. He can see it, then he can't see it. Maybe about the touching it. Sometimes when you touch it, it goes off, and then sometimes it doesn't. Because Clark doesn't touch it at the beginning when it, all of that. But, we'll just skip over that a little bit. I did notice that it is not the same globe as in Strange Visitor. It's larger.
Yes.
It's nice.
Yes.
Okay.
It's nice and smooth, whereas the one that is in Strange Visitor was more like dimensional. It had like the earth and stuff kind of raised off of the globe, which was kind of cool. I kind of liked it better than this one, but they probably lost it, never thought they'd use it again, threw it out in a dumpster.
Julie would have killed for it.
I still would kill for it. I want it. And then I did notice, maybe not a goof, but it bugs me when the bet is going on and Kat says that she is going to have Jimmy paint her whole condo. pink because pink fades. There is no pink in her apartment. We have been in her apartment. And then the
Yeah.
only other thing I really have is that fake money is handed to Jack. That is not real money.
It's always with the fake money on this
But, you
show.
know.
You know how we were complaining with Witness of the really terrible special effects? But they brought them on for this episode. They used their budget. I thought the special effects, especially with the Krypton stuff, sure, okay, sometimes you can tell how they did it. No big deal. I still think it looks really good.
For the 90s, it's done well. Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely did a pretty decent job for it with what they could do, for sure.
Yes. Yes.
Television 90s, I should clarify. Yeah.
Okay, so I have combined my two sections today with the real life stuff and the Lex stuff, at least for part of it, because most of the stuff that Lex was talking about was alluding to real life art and artists. So here's where we are with Lex's stuff. So Lex has the full figure of the Mona Lisa, which is, of course, a larger version, supposedly, of the actual Mona Lisa painted by Leonardo da Vinci, probably between 1503 and 1506. Lex has a painting of Gainsborough's Yellow Boy. In our world, we have a painting of Gainsborough's Blue Boy, and that's Thomas Gainsborough, born in 1727. Mr. Luthor has the arms of the Venus de Milo, an ancient Greek statue probably carved in the 2nd century BC, who in our world is notably armless. Lex also claims to have Beethoven's 10th Symphony. That's Ludwig von Beethoven, composer born in 1770, who famously wrote 9 known symphonies. You get the pattern here. It's always something very slightly off from what we have. Lex also, we mentioned, has Van Gogh's Better Self-Portrait, which is a picture of Van Gogh's ear. Van Gogh was a Dutch painter born in 1853. There is a famous painting he did called Self-Portrait with a Bandaged Ear in 1889, the year before his death. Lex also has a few other things in his lair. He has another Van Gogh self-portrait as well as a painting of flowers. I couldn't tell exactly what that was supposed to be alluding to, but could have been a Monet, could have been another Van Gogh. I tried to Google image it, but no, nothing. Anyways, there's some other real life things though. We got a mention of Kansas. We love a good old Kansas. I know that Lex said it's showtime at one point, and my mind immediately thought that that was like something from the Johnny Carson Tonight Show or something. So I looked it up. It has nothing to do with Johnny Carson or the Tonight Show. It seems to be one of those phrases that at first was just used backstage a lot. It's time to go on stage. It's showtime.
Yep.
But the 1979 movie, I think it's called All That Jazz.
Yeah.
The movie, All That Jazz.
All That Jazz.
Yep.
The 1979 movie All That Jazz used it. It was also later used in the 1988 movie Beetlejuice. My favorite, of course, though, is Stephanie Tanner in the pilot of Full House. Showtime!
It's showtime! I love it.
The Merriweather Award is probably a sly nod to Meriwether Lewis, partner of William Clark, those two being better known as the American explorers Lewis and Clark. We've talked about them before. We got another passing reference to Elvis, and I believe that's all I've got. Jen, tell us, what is the most bonkers excuse our dear Clark uses in this episode?
My favorite. Lois says that he is like iron when she's giving him a massage. And he corrects Lois and says steel. And then she's like, wait, what? And he goes, still, I'm still, torn up about this whole robbery thing. That's my favorite.
Slip of the tongue.
But there are a few good ones. I mean, that's the best though.
Yep. Oh, Jen, what's up?
Doggies.
Were there puppies here?
0.
Oh.
There was a picture of a dog.
Jen
Does
found
that
no
count?
dogs.
No dogs. I have to say it. There's no puppies.
No
Give me the
animals in this
puppies.
episode. I'm sorry. All right, guys. It is time to rate this episode on a scale from A plus to F minus. Julie, tell us, how do you rate The Foundling?
Okay. I love this episode. This is one that I really like. I love origin stories. I love when they continue something from a previous episode, especially an episode that I really liked with Trask and all of that. And we got Clark in boxers. So I'm giving this episode an A.
All right, I thought this is for me, The Foundling is a solid episode. There's some great interpersonal stuff between Lois and Clark. We get lots of new information about Clark, about his origins, like you said. It sets up a lot of questions that we're going to get answered as the series goes on. I've already said this, but it's okay because whatever. The special effects are really good. The only thing I really don't like about this episode, and the reason I don't typically like seek it out to watch it individually, is that it's just pretty melancholy. Just the vibe is just kind of a little down. There's some sad stuff happening, and Superman's origin story is centered on death and loss, and the Jack and Denny stuff is also sad. Jimmy and Kat's plot is supposed to add levity, but it really doesn't do anything for me. I don't really care that they're related by cousinly ship or whatever. So, and I also really don't want to picture those two in bed together. So, yeah, in the end, it's a good episode, even if it's not one I typically rewatch. For me, it's a B plus.
Wow.
All right.
That's high for me. That's one of
That's
my
good.
higher ones.
Yeah, that's good. So for me, I have always enjoyed this one. Even the boring Lex scenes are good. I enjoy Chris Demetral a lot. I love his spunk, his attitude. He's kind of a bad boy. But he also adds this fresh air to the show, and I really enjoy that. Plus, there's the whole thing with Clark nearly exposing his secret. We get right up to that line. We don't cross it yet, but we're so close. It's like the show's flirting with the truth. We also get the Kents. We get Jack. We get Lois and Clark fighting and making up and sharing these little flirty moments and like the back rubs. And this is like the heart of the show for me. And this episode in particular kind of feels like a turning point, and it's an important one in the series. So I really like it. Funny enough, I was between an A minus and a B plus. I went with an A minus.
Yay!
Yay.
Those are all close together ratings. Hooray.
Yeah. That's very close. I wasn't sure how that was gonna be. It's a good one.
I
though.
was going to say A minus. So we are pretty close.
Yeah, I've just been like also using what we've rated other episodes to guide me too. So, all right. Well, don't go anywhere because today Julie is bringing us, I believe, a special report on Tracy Scoggins, our cat Grant. Take it away, Julie.
I am, which is also why I wore a Tracy t-shirt today. Had to be correct and ready.
She is.
So as you two know, I had the great pleasure of finally meeting Tracy and talking with her just 2 weeks ago. She was very nice, funny, and more than happy to chat about Lois and Clark, her experiences, and other cast members. I drove from Ohio to New Jersey for the opportunity, and the over 18-hour round trip drive alone was completely draining, but totally worth it. I found out that Tracy is currently recovering from knee surgery that she had back in February. Apparently, a big dog was about to attack her cat, so she jumped on it and wrestled the big solid potato, as she called it, and really messed up her knee. What was interesting about this crazy story was that the surgeon that she had for her knee surgery was the same person who was an intern at the time of her American Gladiators injury. So it was kind of a full circle moment for her. And for those listening who don't know the American Gladiator story, she was about to be on that show. They introduced her and she decided to do a round off back somersault across the gym and snapped her Achilles and sadly never got to compete. Anyway, I'm going to talk a bit about Tracy. Tracy, and hopefully you will learn something new. Tracy Dawn Scoggins, a self-proclaimed sci-fi geek, was born November 13th, 1953 in Galveston, Texas, and is currently 72 years old as of this episode release. Though you'd never guess that if you met her, because she looks amazing. She began her career in modeling, studied acting in the late 70s, and in the early 80s, she began appearing on TV and in films. We may know her best as the provocative Cat Grant, a hilarious rival to Lois Lane and forever flirt to our Clark Kent. However, there is far more to our wonderful Cat. Before we go further into her acting career, I'd like to take it back briefly to her childhood, because to understand someone fully, you gotta understand how they grew up. Tracy grew up as an only child of two successful parents who had been married 20 years before finally conceiving her. She grew up in a household that valued both academics and athletics. Her father, John, was a trial lawyer and a Golden Gloves boxer, and her mother, Lucille, graduated from law school, became a high school government teacher, and was one of the top-ranked tennis players in Texas. Athleticism and competitiveness was definitely in her genes and instilled in her at a very young age. Tracy had a very close relationship with her parents, stating her mother was her best friend and that she was a self-proclaimed daddy's girl, citing how every day he would leave work just so he could pick her up from elementary school and take her out to lunch. Tracy says that they were very close but wildly peculiar family with no rules, sometimes leaving the Christmas tree up all year long. All right, so at age 9, she won a diving championship, and by the time she was a teenager, was accumulating swimming medals, was a cheerleader, and a gymnast. She graduated high school at 16, and her athletic career continued through her college years at Southwest Texas State University, where she was on the varsity gymnastics team and nearly qualified for a spot on the 1980 Olympic diving team. She ended up graduating with a bachelor's degree in physical education and went on to briefly teach phys ed for a year before being recruited by Elite Model Management, where she went on to model in New York City and throughout Europe. An interesting tidbit about this time in her life that you may not know is that she had a recording deal in France singing in an all-girl rock and roll group called Phantasm. They toured France and made a couple music videos. They were basically a take on the Village People, with her dressed as a black leathered vamp. But sadly, they went their separate ways after a year. She once commented in an interview that they basically ended because a few of the girls got pregnant, and that just, and I quote, shot their sexy costumes to hell.
Oh
Did
my
you guys know
goodness.
this?
No. What? I had no idea.
If it was it in that TV Guide article, that's like the only thing I've ever read
I
of
don't
her.
know if it was in that article or not. I don't think it was. Maybe. I do have that article. It's actually right here. I wish I could say that I have audio, video, or pictures to share, but sadly I do not. But not for lack of trying, because I looked everywhere. So if anybody
Aw.
does have these music videos, send them my way, because I would love to see them. Because
Totally. I do too.
I totally can't picture it. Can you picture it? No?
No, she could pull it off, but
Yeah.
I can't picture it. No.
When she returned to the US, she studied acting for 3 years at some of the most highly regarded schools and fairly quickly landed her first role. During this time, she was briefly married to a man named John Connolly for about 6 years, but that's really all I could find about this guy. And I've even watched interviews during that time, and she said she wasn't married, so I'm a little confused there. I think it's just she didn't want to talk about it, probably. Anyway, her very first acting role was that of a woman impersonating a deputy sheriff in a 4th season episode of The Dukes of Hazzard titled New Deputy in Town. And guess who played her boyfriend on this? None other
John
than
Shea?
Terrence. No, not
Oh,
John Shea. None other than Terrence Knox,
Trask?
our
Trask?
Jason Trask. Yes.
Oh
So
my
if you want to
gosh.
see Cat and Trask kissing, go ahead and watch that episode.
Okay.
So it's a 4th season episode titled New Deputy in Town. Well,
Hmm.
her first day on set, however, did not go as planned. She was to park a police car, get out and say her lines. However, she forgot to set the parking brake, and the car went careening down the mountain, wrecking the car and landing her a permanent spot on the blooper reel. Good job, Tracy.
I'm hearing a lot of my first day on the job, something went terribly wrong patterns with this lady.
Yes, for
Whoops.
sure.
Hmm.
Her first TV movie was Twirl, about teens competing in a national baton twirling contest, in which she had a small part as one of the judges. Early acting roles included playing main roles in the short-lived TV series The Renegades with Patrick Swayze and in Hawaiian Heat. Tracy was a series regular on the 1980s primetime soap opera Dynasty and its spin-off series The Colbys, where she portrayed a lawyer and daughter of a wealthy CEO played by none other than Charlton Heston. Dynasty was a cultural phenomenon and was at one point in time the #1 show in America. She had recurring roles on Lonesome Dove, The Outlaw Years, and Highlander, playing an immortal witch, which was a seductive and mysterious role. Perfect for Tracy. I remember one interview where she mentioned that during a kissing scene with Highlander, the director forgot to say cut, and Tracy turned to the camera and said, "If somebody doesn't say cut soon, I'm going to need to get some birth control." Classic Tracy.
Oh my. Oh my.
Oh my goodness, Tracy. It's funny though. That's funny.
Definitely classic Tracy right there. Her big screen debut was in the 1984 action film Toy Soldiers, but her first leading roles were in the 1988 crime thriller film In Dangerous Company, the horror films Watchers 2 and Demonic Toys, the action comedy Demonic Toys. Have you seen it?
Toy soldiers, demonic toys. I mean, what's up here?
Yeah.
I did actually watch Demonic Toys the other day. It's
Okay.
interesting. It's interesting.
Tell us more.
Interesting. Okay.
It's interesting, and there's a sequel that she's also in. So she plays a cop, and the toys come to
Doesn't
life.
sound
and
good,
kill her.
but
It's
you know.
Come to life.
if you like those cheesy horror movies, you'd probably like it.
No.
So she was also in the action comedy The Gumshoe Kid and the made-for-television comedy satire Jury Duty: The Comedy, which just so happened to have her romantically linked to Bronson Pinchot's character, Cat and the Prankster. That's some alt-universe craziness right there.
All of these ties that she has to other things on Lois and Clark seem to be like later after she left.
Mm-hmm.
What does it all mean?
It's weird.
Oh, well, not Terrence Knox, but yeah.
She has done guest appearances on many shows, including Doogie Howser MD, Remington Steele, The A-Team, Star Trek Deep Space Nine, Sybil, Wings, Silk Stockings, Felicity, NCIS, Castle, Nip Tuck, and many, many more. She was in 2 Dallas TV movies, and oddly enough, those were not her first role on Dallas, as she played a small part as another character in a 1983 episode.
And guess who else was in the Dallas TV movie? Mr. Chris Demetrol.
Yes, he was.
No way, really?
Yes, he was.
The same one?
Yeah, they were in the same one. Mm-hmm. I have it on tape.
Huh.
We got a lot of crossovers here. She played Aaron Carter's mother in the 2005 teen comedy film Pop Star, and later that year starred opposite Chuck Norris in the action film The Cutter. She has starred in many other films, and I could go on for hours, so I would encourage you to take the time to look them all up. When asked about her time on Lois and Clark, She has said that she loved that Bryce Zabel allowed her to ad-lib and make her own decisions at times, and that she had a great working relationship with him because he just had Cat down. She said she tried to make herself very feline-like, thinking, what would my cat be doing in this situation? So she'd be perching on tables when others would be sitting in a chair, for example. During the Superman celebration in 2013, Tracy said that her favorite scenes were when Clark came to her apartment in the episode Strange Visitor, and also the confessional scene in the episode All Shook Up.
Both good.
Both very good. She also spoke very highly of other cast members. And shared some of her favorite memories of Michael Landis, John Shea, and Lane Smith, saying how happy she was that Michael had ended up having a very nice career after also leaving Lois and Clark after the first season. How she used to call John's family the Ninja Family Robinsons because they were always dressed in black, and also how she calls Smith and Smith her most helpful film acting mentors. That would be Kurtwood Smith, with whom she did her first television series, and Lane Smith, who portrayed Perry White on Lois and Clark. Sadly, she left our beloved series after only one season and was cast in a pilot for CBS called Galaxy Beat. However, that pilot sadly did not sell. Two other very notable roles after Lois and Clark were that of Captain Elizabeth Lockley during the final season of Babylon 5 in 1998 and all of its sequels, live action and the animated movie, which just came out in 2023. And in 2005, playing Grace Neville on the series Dante's Cove. In addition to acting, she produced her own workout videos, Tough Stuff, and Mind Your Body. And she also starred in a 1995 3DO video game called Snow Job. I'll end this little biography with some advice that she'd pass on to others. She said to, believe in God and he'll see you through anything.
Nice.
That's what I got.
My brother's a big fan of Babylon 5. He's always trying to get me into it, and I still haven't. I mean, I've tried, but I haven't gotten into it. I've definitely not gotten to her episodes.
I've seen a few of them as I'm wearing a Babylon 5 Tracy t-shirt.
Yeah.
I have seen a few of them, yes. But I have a little couple trivia questions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Ready?
I won't know him. Okay.
All right. You might know. This is not a very hard one. She was one of 3 main Lois and Clark cast members to have appeared in the Star Trek franchise. Can you name the other 2? Jen's thinking. I think Molly might know.
Wait, Molly knows. Molly knows, right?
Yeah, that must start. I like
Okay.
Star Trek.
I have never seen Star Trek. I cannot with that show. I'm gonna guess.
So the ones that come to my mind, Jonathan Frakes, Star Trek: The Next Generation, who was in Don't Tug on Superman's Cape. And I think his name is Robert Beltran from Fly Hard, was in, I think, Star Trek Voyager.
Are
Can
we
you think
talking
of-
like main characters though?
Can you think
no?
of 2 main characters?
Really? Oh, well, duh, Terry, of course.
Well,
Terry was
there
in
you
Star
go.
Trek:
Terry.
The Next Generation.
There
Okay,
you go.
Terry, and then
You can do it.
Did you
You can
say-
do it.
Was John Shea? John Shea seems like he would just be like a random one-off alien on something. Oh, Chris Dimitrov, right? Wasn't he on something? Hold on.
He was in Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Yes. But that's one I haven't seen. I need to see that one.
I was gonna
Okay.
use Chris Dimitrov as a bonus because he's technically not main cast. He's the supporting.
Oh,
So-
let me see that.
There is one other main cast.
Okay, hold on. Who is everybody? Okay, we got Kay, Eddie, Lane.
was Kay in it? Kay?
John Shea,
Or
Terry,
Oh.
which we already said,
Michael Landis.
Justin. Like someone who's in the credits?
Yep.
Well, you've stumped me. I don't know.
John
There's
Shea.
only so many people in the credits. You could probably guess.
Kay
All right.
Callan. Kay Callan. Kay
Number
Callan.
1
Final
was
answer.
Terry Hatcher.
Yes. Okay, we got that
who
one.
was in Star Trek Next Generation. The second one was Kay Callan, who was in Star Trek Deep Space Nine.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, that's one of the ones I haven't really seen. But yeah, I
Tell
remember
us what we've won.
Yay!
For
But
not getting the answer.
Molly got the bonus one with guessing Jack.
Yay, good job, Molly.
Here I'm like, oh, this random guest star that was on.
No, I'm like,
you're like,
I am never
the
gonna come
main
up with these
cast,
guys.
well,
Oh, like, main cast, Molly. Main cast.
it's all good.
I know I've read.
But hey,
I know
Shout out
I've read a
Jonathan
number
Frakes.
of guests. Yeah.
but you got some extras, so that's good.
Well, when you met, tell us a little bit more about meeting Tracy. Look, we do want to hear about the banana, if you're willing to share.
My banana photo, yes. Somebody here
love that you
convinced
did
me
that.
that somebody, Jen.
What?
You were looking for props. She suggested banana because we just watched
Yeah,
Illusions
we
of
had just
Grandeur.
watched Illusions.
True. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I was just trying to
I
figure
just
out
brought
how to,
it up.
Yeah. I was just trying to figure out how to pose because I like,
Yeah.
I don't like boring photos of you just like standing there with somebody. It's got to be interesting.
Yeah.
So, what's interesting? A banana. I don't know. It's stupid, but I still love it.
It's
And
amazing.
if you are on Instagram, you can go back and check that one out. I think that one just dropped early November. And yeah, it's a good picture. They're each holding a banana. And Tracy ate the banana afterwards.
She
Yes, she
enjoyed
did.
it.
She was very excited about the banana. She was totally game. She's like, I don't like boring stuff either. So let's do it. And then she's like, well, let's
Love that.
she's like, how do I pose? I'm gonna pose Texas style. And she like uses the banana as a gun.
Oh my gosh,
And
that's
then,
so funny.
then she's like, can I have it? I'm like, you can keep the banana. She's like, great.
No,
Yeah,
sign
'cause
it and give it back
she
to me. I'm
ate
gonna
it.
keep it forever. Yeah.
Yeah, you mentioned in her bio that she had Texas connections. I never would have guessed that from her,
Me neither. Mm-mm.
the way she
Same.
talks.
She's a Texan.
And so is Kay Callan. I mean, she has ties there too. That's interesting.
Yeah, she was super nice. Very funny.
That's awesome.
So Julie
she
got her
signed-
jacket signed by yet another cast member. And Michael Landis, Justin Whalen, if you're listening, there's a little space
I'm
left on
sure
that
they are.
jacket. And I'm sure you'd be welcome. Please give us a message. My phone
Yes,
number
please.
is no.
And
Or
she-
Chris
we're not-
Demetral, you can
they-
call, you can email too. I'll
Yeah.
have you sign it.
Yeah,
Hmm.
totally.
Thank you so much for listening today. If you're following along with the pod, our next episode is going to be season 1, episode 17, The Rival.
You can find us on Instagram or Blue Sky as Folks Forever. That's FOLCSFOREVER. Or you can visit our website at folksforeverpod.wixsite.com/podcast. And until next time, please enjoy this amazing little ditty.
Clark's globe starts talking late at night. Holograms glow, a father's light. Krypton's whispers, a heritage unfolds. Secrets of a time, dying to be told. And here's Jack, yeah, here's Jack. Stealing dreams, he won't look back. Snapping pics and posting for sale. Lex is giddy, it's his holy grail. Lex in the shadows, money is paid, adding to his collection, deals are made. A room of artwork, Van Goghs and arms, Superman's arrival sets off the alarms. And here's Jack, yeah,